Black Clover has finally revealed Ryu's eye, and it's kind of stirring up some controversy on the internet, but I'll get into that later. So if you could absolutely annihilate that like button, I greatly appreciate that. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Now, it actually seems as though that Asta is not going to be taking on the dragon heads himself. Ryu tells Asta to give it his all with his next attack and says that the 7 of them will set the stage for Asta. So we're going to see some coordination between him and the Ryuzen here.
The power of friendship.
And things are getting real serious as Ryu points out here that the 5-headed dragon can regenerate even after taking lethal wounds. So to finish it off, they're going to need the Tengetsu, and they finally reveal his eye here. And we see this nice Tomoe pattern swirling in and around his eye, and it's looking real clean. I do gotta say though, a lot of people were saying that this was kind of ripping off Naruto.
What?
But I don't know, I just don't see it. It's funny because I was hearing about this before reading the chapter, but I obviously didn't want to get spoiled, so I waited to read the chapter myself, and I gotta say it was pretty anticlimactic because I'm assuming like, oh wow, he just straight up pulled out a Sharingan, only to, you know, I read the chapter and I see this and it's just like, oh well, this is awkward. Also considering the fact that I doubt it's going to be colored the same as well. So I mean, they use the same symbol, but I mean, you could find this symbol pretty commonly in Japanese mythology. For those who don't know, this is a Tomoe pattern. This Tomoe symbol is usually used in Japanese mon, and mon, which is also called mansho, are Japanese emblems used usually to decorate and identify an individual, a family, or an institution, a business entity. You know, we've even seen this symbol in other shows such as One Piece. One of the early antagonists of the show actually had this pattern. For those who reached the Skypiea arc, you know who NL is, and you've probably seen the symbol, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, a Tomoe symbol is even used in OBS Studio. OBS Studio is pretty much a backwards Tomoe symbol. So this would be like the equivalent of some person using a star shape in an eye and then another person using stars in an eye, you know, that it would be like, we kind of like that. I don't know, I just thought it was kind of ironic. I would assume that Naruto fans would be kind of hyped by this. I mean, I myself as a Naruto fan was hyped by this, but I don't know, I don't see what the big deal about this is. I mean, it looks cool, also has a much different ability use, so I mean, there's that. But jumping back to the chapter here, as we know, his Tengetsu can see everything happening in the now. So of course, Ryu here is going to help them make the right decision so that they can take down that beast. So Fuji and Ryu are standing back here giving support to their allies as Fuji whips out his sound Yojutsu, Hard Workers Fight Song. And they're actually farther back than I thought. They're all the way like back in the castle. You probably pinpoint it right there in that image. They're like way back there, but I guess that makes sense considering he uses sound Yojutsu. I'm guessing he could get Ryu's voice to reach them, and then of course him using sound Yojutsu himself, it can travel far distances. But that's smart though, because obviously they can't afford to take any damage because they got a lot of utility to give out. And it seems as though here that Fuji's Yojutsu had invigorated everyone. Seems like they got a pretty decent amp here, and Ryu charges them in like a general, making sure to pinpoint the right direction for them to go. You know, they got 7 soldiers out there, so they got to put them numbers to use to make sure that everything lines up for Asta to make that slash. We got Meshuga here knocking one of the heads back northeast, and then Daisamon's pushing one of the heads up. So it looks like they're going to be pushing all the heads upwards so that the necks are exposed. Ryu tells Komare here to run up one's neck and then shift his head back. He tells Morty-Fuyu to keep holding the head in that position to line up with the others, of course. He tells Jozo to lift his dragon head up, but he suddenly stops as he's in the action, and unfortunately it seems as though that his wounds are a little bit too deep and he's not able to move. And he is quite screwed here as that head is coming straight for him. And this is of course the last head. They've already got the other 4 in position. But we can't forget about Ichika here as she comes into his aid and she uses a Zetten attack to get that head into position. Let's go! And with all the heads lined up, they give Asta the cue, and without fail, he uses his Zetten attack to slice all those heads in unison, and they come clean off in one swing. It looks like he used his Demon Slayer sword. It's been a minute since we've seen that one pulled out, and this is the end of the chapter as Ryu's Tengetsu wears off, and he says, "Well done, everyone." It was nice to see some teamwork with the Ryuzen again. It would have been cool to see Asta finish off the dragon by itself, but that would have been difficult. I mean, I guess he could have used Dimension Slash, but of course he would have to line all the heads up, and that would have been and kind of tricky. So yeah, this makes sense. I also gotta say that design for Ryu's eye is clean. The way it spirals out and projects kind of like a lens. I can't wait to see that animated. I already know they're probably gonna make it like swirl around and like float in front of them.
Sensational.
But yeah, the dragon heads are disposed of finally. So with them out the way, I'm assuming Asta's gonna regroup with his comrades back in the Clover Kingdom, because they really don't have any time to waste, because they're gonna need all the help they can get to get everybody together and come up with a plan to do something. And I'm assuming he's gonna recruit the Ryus and probably even Ryu along with them. So that'll be dope to see the Ryuzen as well as the Magic Knights work together. Hopefully we get to see that happen, or if not, I'm guessing they'll probably have the Ryuzen stationed in the land of the sun to protect it, and then maybe we'll see multiple battles in different lands. It'll probably be a huge battle royale across the entire planet or something. But yeah, it's definitely nice to see everything lining up perfectly here. Well, if you made it this far, I appreciate you sticking around. If you could use your Z10 on that like button, I'd greatly appreciate that. Consider subscribing as well. You'll enjoy it here, I promise. Well, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.